Hey y'all, it's the Home Ec Lady. This is a series where I recreate vintage patterns using upcycled materials. Today's pattern is from 1988, and I'm not sure where I got it, but it's going to serve my current needs. I need some new drawers, y'all, and I need a custom design. Just a little warning here before I get started, folks. I'm going to be talking about bodily functions. So if you're not in that headspace right now, just go ahead and skip this one because it's not for everyone. And we'll see you at the next one. Our bodily functions can put us in some weird circumstances sometimes. And if you've ever had a uterus, you might be aware that it sometimes decides to just bleed without any warning. And bladders, oh, they're pretty good at delivering surprises in public places too. So these things just happen and it's a natural part of being a human being. And here's what I'm going to do about it. As we all know, there's lots of products on the market that can assist us with these very harsh facts of life. But I'm trying to save money right now, not to mention what these products can do to the environment. Unless it's a cup, which, let's face it, is a torture device. So when I came across this vintage pattern, I thought I could use the bathing suit bottoms to create some underwear and then add a pad to them using some scrap flannel. And this way I can eliminate those expensive products from my budget and, I don't know, maybe try the cup again? The pattern envelope is pretty damaged, but the instructions and the tissue pieces are both in really good shape. It's McCall's 3660 in sizes 10 through 14 with instructions for custom fitting because here's a secret. Sizes don't exist. So I'm going to check the measurements and adjust the pattern accordingly. I was really impressed with these written directions, 5 stars from a teacher. They're great for anybody who might not have adjusted a pattern before. And really, I guess that's how I learned how to do it back in the day, when I first started sewing garments on a machine, which, strangely enough, was also 1988. Now, I looked at these directions and I knew right away I did not want a seam in the crotch or on the butt crack. So I combined the front and the back at the crotch and made one full pattern piece. And that's how I began the pattern making process. Okay, so I adjusted the pattern and sewed one up, and then I wore them around for a day to evaluate their comfort level, and they were not great, but that's okay. I used my research to adjust the pattern for the next pair, and then I made up another pair with some swimsuit fabric that I had in my stash pile, and I wore those around for a day. And that pattern needed just a few tweaks to be really comfortable. So the third pair had all the adjustments from the original pattern and they were really comfortable to wear around for a full day. And so that became the pattern that I used to make more. So here's my final pattern, and it's positioned on the fold of some old jersey knit fabric I had in my stash pile. And on the pattern, I drew the best location for my pad to go based on where I need absorption. But this is a really personal thing and where custom comes in, I guess. This is the shape that was most comfortable and effective for me. I cut 4 layers of the flannel for the pad, and that worked pretty good for me in my research phase, but I could see adding more or less layers as needed. Each of us knows best what might be necessary for the surprises that come up, and the same's true when positioning the pad on the crotch. This pad position met my needs, and it was comfortable to wear. I serged the pad layers all together, and then I used a straight stitch to attach it to the garment. There was a small pucker in the back, but that doesn't matter to me at all. And so I'm going to move on to the leg and waistbands, which I do not want to insert with elastic because it pinches. I cut the waistband 4 inches wide and ironed it in half using a whole bunch of starch. And then I cut the leg bands 2 inches wide and repeated that process. And I started with the leg bands by attaching the raw edge of the strip to the right side of the garment. I used a serger for this and it was a tight fit in the crotchal region. Rather than use elastic, as I sew the band onto the underpants, I'm going to gently stretch it over the stable garment underneath. I don't want the garment underneath to stretch. And again, you don't have to use a serger for this. With the leg bands attached, now I'm going to sew the side seams of the knickers. And then next up is to put the waistband in place, which I'll sew end to end and then fold with the wrong sides facing before stretching it and sewing it to the undies with the seam in the middle of the back. And then here's the final product. I've made about 10 pairs so far, and it's been just the cost of a few dollars in my time. And I really like them. I can't believe I waited so long to put them together, but then again, I didn't know how much I needed them. Thanks so much for joining me today. I do hope you're leaving here inspired. Don't forget to like and subscribe because I'd love to have you back. Take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye.